if you have not already heard, yesterday it was announced that LeBron James will be on the cover of the upcoming Wheaties cereal box. The first thought that entered my mind is this a worthwhile investment? And I believe it is. So in this video, I'll go over a couple of the reasons why as a first reaction to this news. So welcome back. Now let's get to work. If you grew up here in the US, you're probably very familiar with Wheaties and the legacy it has to always feature athletes on there. Tiger Woods has been on, I think, 15 or 17 times. Michael Jordan has been on more than anyone else at 19 covers. But it's something that you grow up with. You eat cereal, you see the commercials, you see the athletes, and they always put on Olympic athletes as well. And there's a reason for that I'll go over in a bit. But when it comes down to a worthwhile investment, the primary factors are supply and demand. And the supply is going to be through the roof, right? A cereal company that sells $4 processed garbage cereal needs to sell a lot of boxes, and you might as well sell as many as you can. That means they could make 10 million boxes if 10 million people want them, and there very may well be 10 million people that want these boxes. And the other reason is because they've got a bill to pay in whatever LeBron James and his agents cooked up to make this agreement happen. And I know I've read articles that other athletes basically get paid nothing to be on the front of a Wheaties box because it's very iconic and it's kind of like a status symbol as well. It's like an accomplishment. But LeBron James is not a normal athlete. He's not like this equestrian rider. He's not like a water polo champion or something where people don't really care about the sport. He's someone that is known for high-paying endorsements, and he's already been representing some of the biggest companies out there that sell garbage food like McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, and Sprite. So I don't think he's on that box for a small amount. I think he knows his own value and he's charging Wheaties a lot to be on there, which means that Wheaties has got to make it worthwhile and sell as many boxes as possible. So regardless, there's probably gonna be millions of these boxes out there, but the vast majority will be thrown away, dinged up, the cereal will be eaten, and whatever else. So there will be probably tens of thousands, maybe even more, that are in mint condition, but the supply is gonna be high. So that's the main point I wanna bring up. As far as demand goes, this is where it gets really interesting because, look, short term, you go to the grocery store, you see a picture of LeBron James on a cereal box, you're a Laker fan, you're a LeBron fan, you're an NBA fan, you might grab a box for yourself. So demand is gonna be high. I expect it to be easily met by the supply of Wheaties, but long-term demand, this is where it gets really interesting to me, and this is why. Number one, this is LeBron's first box cover for Wheaties, while I said Michael Jordan had 19 covers. So in a way, this is LeBron James's his rookie card. This is his rookie cereal box, which could be very interesting long-term. Plus, if he wins the championship with the Lakers, which he could do tomorrow night, then all of a sudden him in a Lakers jersey should mean more. His legacy is being cemented and has already reached a pretty high status for being in a Lakers jersey. Number two, with the rise of sports cards and collectibles this year, this could be a very interesting turning point where a lot of people really value collecting Wheaties boxes. And it might sound weird, but when I saw this news and then I looked up old Wheaties boxes, I was like, damn, that is a cool thing to collect because it reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of pop culture, American culture, and sports all in one. And when you can combine the nostalgia of eating cereal as a kid, watching the Wheaties commercials, seeing athletes from 1994, 96, and whatever, all together in a pretty cool, oversized sports card looking display piece, I'm like, damn, that's something I want to start collecting. So the rise of sports cards and collectibles makes it very intriguing. But number three, it looks good. It's just a good looking box. I love the yellow and orange. I love, I would love to display it myself. And as a $4 display piece, it's literally like buying an oversized sports card that I'm proud to put on display and maybe have a whole wall of behind me. Can you just pound that like button for me, please? The last interesting point is that we are in such a crazy moment of history right now. And I really believe that in 10 years, in 2030, when we look back at 2020, it's gonna be a year that we all remember. And I kind of compare it to 9/11, where if you ask Americans that are 14 or older, what they were doing and where they were on 9/11, most people will know exactly where they were that day and that emotional attachment to that day and the following days. And I feel like this is a whole year of that, where as Americans, we have not gone through something like this in like decades and decades, and definitely not since I was a kid. So the specialty, the novelty of 2020 in hindsight, looking back from 10 and 20 years, I think will be very special. So anything that comes out of this year, I believe has an extra potential for being very nostalgic and very emotionally driven. And so if I look at this LeBron James Wheaties box in 2030, I'll be like, oh man, that was the COVID year. Oh yeah, and he won the championship for the first time with the Lakers. Oh yeah, and that's when I got back into sports cards. It will have such a strong tie emotionally that I feel like the demand for anything 2020, especially this box, could go through the roof in 10 years or 20 years. Now, something else I wanted to check out are prior sales of other Wheaties boxes to see if any of them are going for a lot of money. And unfortunately on eBay, I didn't see anything over about $100 or so. A lot of the boxes were 25 bucks or 20 or 30 or 40. And I mean, look, it's nothing crazy. And I'm sure if you go back to the 50s and the 40s, and if those boxes are out there in mint condition, they've gone for a lot more. So my expectation is not like, hey, let me buy this cereal box for $4 and sell it for $1,000. But my final verdict is for $4 to pay for a very visually appealing display piece of a highly respected and celebrated and collectible athlete in his first year of being on a cereal box, which is iconic here in the US, in 2020, which will go down as one of the craziest years we've ever seen, and definitely a year we'll all remember for as long as we live, that is worth more than the $4 right there. I feel like the upside of these boxes long term are extremely high, but the downside is it's $4. Worst case scenario, you bust it open and you eat the damn cereal. That's it. So for me, I'm gonna buy 20 or 30 of these boxes. I wanna see if I can make a nice display of them. I think that'd be really cool. And if they go up in value, that's great. I believe one day they will, short term, unless they run out and someone overpays on eBay, they won't. But for me, the upside is so high and the downside is I'm just paying 80 bucks for 20 boxes of a really cool display piece that will turn into a piece of art. Let me know your thoughts of LeBron James being the cover boy of Wheaties in the comment section below, and remember to hit that bell to be notified of new videos. I'll see you in the next one.